Schools have a lot on their plates. They do their best to keep up with the latest teaching techniques for every style of learning. They work to figure out ways to increase their end-of-level scores and are continually learning the best ways to protect kids from physical harm from terrorists or emotional harm from bullies. With all of their diligence in making schools safe, it may be alarming to you to discover that most schools have done nothing to protect or secure their servers and websites from hackers. Cyberbullies can do any number of things to harm or hurt not only the students, but the teachers, staff, and families of the students as well. All of your child's personal information is easily accessible if your school hasn't taken the right steps to protect and secure that information. In fact, check out this search I did on Google. I searched for schools that have been hacked. Here you see there are tons of articles, some of which are Department of Education warns that hackers are now targeting schools. Who's hacking schools now? Hackers are targeting schools, U.S. Department of Education warns. Hacked Twitter accounts. Hackers lock down entire school district with threats. Attempted hacking of Florida school districts highlights vulnerability. Dark overlord hacks schools across U.S. Text threats against kids. Now notice the related search results listed at the bottom here. How to hack a school computer to change grades. How to hack into a school system from home. How to hack a university server to change grades. And how to hack school computers. And check out this quote from a recent CNBC.com article. The widespread availability of free or inexpensive hacking software and services means malicious students no longer need special skills to cause trouble. You don't need special skills to hack a school's website. If your neighbor's kid can easily hack the school's website, what makes you think professional hackers aren't? We are urging parents across the globe to pay closer attention to their school's digital security, because this is a huge issue that's being ignored. We have put together a checklist of steps we recommend you take to help get your school secure. You can download that checklist below. If you think your school is safe, you might want to think again. And just to give you a glimpse on what you could be dealing with if your child's personal information was stolen, we interviewed a parent who had to deal with this firsthand. Here's what she went through when her child's identity was stolen and used.
So, he was around 9 when it first happened. I didn't come to realize it until just before his 10th birthday, though, because you don't often check the credit of a child. I was actually working really hard on cleaning up my credit, and one of the tips that I was reading, going through some of the pamphlets, was to check your children's credit. So I went ahead and checked the children's credit and discovered that one of my children's credit had been used for about a year. Rent had been put in my son's name, a motorcycle and a stereo system. So there's a credit card in his name. Some utilities have been put in his name. It still took me about 4 to 5 months to get it all cleaned up, but I would have to go to the major credit bureaus and present his birth certificate. I had to have my lawyer bring some paperwork for me to send to them as well.
Thankfully, it only took 4 to 5 months to clear this up, but it could have been much worse. What if they lived close by? Would it have been easy to prove those purchases weren't yours?
I had clearly established residency in Utah, and his credit was being used in Idaho. It was a 6-hour drive and wasn't pinned on me. However, I know that can happen. That's happened with some friends of mine. And that could be very, very frustrating to clear up and prove it wasn't yours. And it would have been harder to prove it wasn't him buying a stereo system and all these other things than it was when he was 10 years old. So I do think, as far as children goes, it's very critical to go ahead and put a lock on their credit reports and go ahead and check them and not assume that just because they're minors, they're not going to be used until they're 18.
Protecting your child is ultimately the parent's responsibility. Knowing where your children are vulnerable and then taking action to fix the problems and keep them safe is extremely important.
It's frustrating enough when you run into hard times due to job loss or medical bills and run into financial issues for that reason. But when it's somebody else and you're just a victim, it's so frustrating to have to deal with it. And if it can be prevented, it should be. There's so many ways to keep yourself safe. There's really no reason to be taking risks with things that important that can have such long-lasting effects on your life.
After having gone through this process with her own son, Angela has paid much closer attention to where hers and her kids' personal information is going and how it's being used. She is also standing up for them and demands protection.
went to enroll my son in school, I found out that they were at the time using their social security number for the student ID. And I did not at all feel comfortable with that. I went right to the school and I'm like, no, this is not okay with me. And I was very clear as to why that was not okay with me. And 2 years later, they changed the policy. But in the meantime, because I threw up such a big stink, they told me that they'd give him a separate student ID instead of using his social security number.
Schools are leaving your kids vulnerable when they don't secure their websites and servers. They are easy targets for hackers, and big money can be made by selling your children's personal information.
It's actually pretty common for social security numbers to be sold and used, and children's is the most popular to be sold, and that is because you can use it for years before it's discovered, because they're not going to use it until they decide to buy their first car or get their first credit card. It won't get noticed forever. So yeah, don't just be worried about your own, worry about your kids too.
We've just been talking about stealing identities, but consider how easy it would be to abduct your child with all the information hackers can get from your schools about your kids. I don't even like to think about that. It's absolutely terrifying.
I haven't had it as bad as some people, I think. Yeah, and I think I see at the end of the tunnel, but it is still very critical to be very careful with where where all of your information is and who's allowed to have access to it, and who's able to have your social security number, your important financial document.
If you are at all concerned about your child's safety, you owe it to them and yourself to make sure your school is being proactive about keeping your child's information secure. By law, they are supposed to be. Unfortunately, with all the laws and regulations, continuing education and certifications, changes in testing procedures and requirements, physical safety protocols, bullying, and everything else that's on their endless to-do list, cybersecurity is being pushed to the bottom of the list of priorities, and it's only a matter of time before your school is the next hacked victim. Given how easily hackable their systems are, and how valuable that information is that they can get there. If you are concerned for your children, download the checklist below and arm yourself with the information you need to put pressure on your school to take action, and protect your child, yourselves, and your school staff members. You're all vulnerable on their servers and websites, and you don't even realize it. Let's get this movement underway and keep our kids safe. Take action now. Download the checklist below, and then call your school principal and school board to express your concerns for website and server security. Look for a trust seal or badge that shows they are safe. And please share this video with all of your friends to help us get the word out. Let's make cybersecurity a priority for all schools and protect our kids.